What's going on, everybody? It's your pal Burrito Johnson, just coming at you with another video. I wanted to talk about a movie that I really enjoyed. And my story with that movie, because it dates back actually to when I was a teenager. And that movie is called The Frighteners, 1996, Peter Jackson, The Frighteners. I saw the trailers. I was a massive fan of Michael J. Fox, and I'm like, I better get there early on Friday night. And because there's going to be no back when, there was an assigned seating, first come, first serve, I better get there early. The movie's going to sell out. And I guess, I got to go. So I get there early. I get there about 30 minutes early or 45 minutes early, like I used to do back in the 90s. I want to say I was going on 14. And the movie is rated R, but since I used to go to the movie so many times, the people, for the most part, didn't really care. There were some managers that did care, but there was other managers that they just didn't really care. So they would just sell me a ticket. Um, I was like, I go to the movie, I go to the theater thinking there was going to be a line or there's going to be a ton of people already waiting. And when I get into the movie theater, it was empty. It was empty. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe people just aren't here yet. I'm sure it's going to fill up and soon here. It's going to be packed, and nothing like enjoying a movie on a Friday night with a packed audience. That's an awesome experience. Uh, 5 minutes before the showtime shows up, somebody comes in and then they sit down. I'll never forget this. They sit down and they were like, oh, wait a minute. They walk back out and they look up at the sign from what it sounds like. And they're like, oh, we're in the wrong movie. We're in the wrong movie. We're not supposed to be in here. They got up and left. And the lights dim, the movie starts, and I'm the only person in that movie theater. And I was like, looking around, I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. I guess maybe, maybe a lot of people, maybe the next day or the weekend or whatever, more people will come. I was the only person in that whole movie, the whole time by myself. And if I'm being honest with you, I had an absolute blast. And unfortunately, not a lot of people came the next day or the weekend after. It kind of the Frighteners just kind of came and went, and you didn't really hear too much about it until it was released, I think a few months later on VHS. And I was excited because I was like, I really enjoyed this movie. The special effects was awesome. The setting was awesome. I had no idea until Michael J. Fox was doing interviews that this movie was filmed in New Zealand. Like Peter Jackson likes to keep all his movies filmed in New Zealand, which is awesome. So I thought it looks like, oh, it was somewhere in America. I think they made it look like it was in the Pacific Northwest with the waters and the shores and stuff like that. And when it came to home video, it started kind of getting another life. I showed it to my mom. She didn't really like it, as she doesn't like most stuff with ghosts and stuff like that. So I ended up owning it. I wish I still had that VHS because it had it was the lenticular, whatever, where you could see, it was like 3D or something like that. That was really cool. And then it kind of came to DVD. I bought the DVD version, of course, and then it kind of came on a bare bones Blu-ray, which it was the artwork kind of sucked. And it's obvious. It looks cheesy. The original Blu-ray of the Frighteners. And I was like, okay, cool. So, many years later when 4K started coming out and, all this stuff, I'm like, surely a 4K version of the Frighteners is on the horizon. And nothing. Nothing was announced, and this company at the time I've never heard of released what is it? An American Werewolf in London. They released in this really awesome pack, a 4K loaded to the brim with special features. The packaging looks cool, and I'm like, that's awesome. I'm not going to drop. I missed it. Obviously, I missed the when it was cheap to order, but now I think I've seen it around for $200 plus 299. I think as much as I love a movie, I'll never drop that much unless it's like store credit for whatever reason. From there, they moved on. Turbine, German company, moved on to the Frighteners, and of course, at the time, I wasn't really actively collecting 4K movies, special editions, stuff like that, as much as I am now, or even a couple of years before. So Turbine came and went. The special edition Turbine Frighteners would pop up at my used secondhand shops, video shops, and it would be a ridiculous amount. And I was like, no, I love this movie, and I hope at someday that the price will come down, and I'll pick it up. And that day came 2 months ago. Phoenix, Arizona, Glendale, more specifically, Arizona, Thunderbird location, Zia Records. I found the Frighteners Turbine edition. It is the special edition 4K. It has the director's cut, the theatrical cut, a couple Blu-rays of the making. It has so much stuff in here. It has hours of behind the scenes features. I went a couple of decades not knowing what any of the behind the scenes were until I actually got this. There is a lot packed into this, and I'm going to try to open it and then show you. But here's the box. It's a little dinged up, but you know what? It's okay because we have the original, the OG cover. This was the poster that was in the movie theaters. This is what actually got my attention as a little kid. You see Michael J. Fox, and I think right at the very tiny, you see Peter Jackson. At the very back, you see kind of the Gazette, and you see you see Jake Busey. I forgot her name, but you kind of see what they've done. Deadly duo kill 12 in hospital horror, and that whole scene when they were doing the replay of this, the playback of this was actually really really cool. So as you can see, you got Turbine again. You have a little fold. I think that's why this was $60. Store credit, by the way. I didn't spend my actual money, so I always wanted to get this. I finally got this, and yeah, let's open it up. So this is the box. I think there was two versions, and I think the other version was like a website exclusive. As you open the box, you got this. You got the Frighteners. I think that was what the other option for the box set was for that. And so I'm going to pull everything out one by one. This is I believe the actual 4K Blu-ray, whatever, holder. And you got, I actually dig this artwork if I'm being honest with you. This is the artwork. I really like that. And this is the daughter who basically aided Jake Busey, who's a killer. Hope I'm not ruining that for you. Oh, well, here we go. You keep opening it up to kind of see discs. Here's Jake Busey as the killer, and you got a couple of 4K ultras. I'm not really sure if you can see that. I don't really need to pull them out, but you got the director's cut and the theatrical cut. The director's cut adds like 20 extra minutes, and it's actually in a way it is actually the best version you're going to see because it does explain a lot more, that things make more sense than the theatrical cut. But also it almost kind of takes away the humor a little bit. The Frighteners is kind of funny, the theatrical version, but the director's cut somehow, while great, still kind of takes, for whatever reason, the humor out. So here are all the discs. Here are every single disc that's in here. That's a lot. 2, 4, 6. So you got the Blu-ray you got the 4K movies, you got the Blu-ray movies, you got the making of, the special editions, you got the open mat. So you got the different aspect ratio versions of this movie. You got the 2 by 3 whatever, and then one by 8.5. And yeah, so you got a lot of different options in here, but this is freaking awesome. You gotta admit, this is awesome. Um, so yeah, that's the actual discs. And I mean, listen, I'm one of my favorite movies that I've been waiting for to get a proper release for decades. You know, if this is if this is the best we're gonna get, I'm gonna jump on it. Maybe Universal will, actually do something with this and do a proper Americanized release instead of leaving it, leaving it to a German company to basically do it for you. You know what I'm saying? And the interesting thing about the menus and stuff like that, it's everything's in German. But for the most part, like the audios and obviously the audio starts off in German. You could switch it to English. I think the subtitles are in German. The 4K menu, DVD, Blu-ray menus are in German, but again, easily it's easily, you could navigate it pretty easily. It's really not that difficult. Um, Comes with a poster, couple posters actually. I didn't even actually. I guess I hadn't. I guess I didn't sit down and look at it. This one is this poster is. I'm really not going to fold it out. But this poster is the same as this. So there you go. I'm not really. I really don't want to fold it out until it actually. I'm gonna probably, um, hang it up. What is the other one? And the second poster is basically this, and this is the one actually might make an attempt to hang up. So Dead Yet, really 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 cool. I do like, so this, it comes with some cards, which is pretty awesome. And what the cool thing I like about it is it comes with Frank Bannister's card. I don't know how good this is gonna to zoom in or out, but Frank Bannister, psychic investigator, contact your deadly beloved. So he'll leave this card when stuff, mysteriously happens. And this is the first time that I've ever seen any of the behind the scenes stuff. And again, I don't know how good this camera is gonna pick up everything. So this is everybody in the crew, and right there is Peter Jackson and his young, I guess his kid. So that's kind of, I love. It's like greetings from California, and it's like cross out Wellington, New Zealand. I actually thought that was cool. You got another one of these. Got him and the two ghosts. Then you got, oh, we got trivia in the back. We got this, rest in pieces. Actually, it's in German. So I guess you could pause it and if the camera does it, does justice. This is in German, so if you want to, take your time to do, you got some more trivia in German. I guess just some like serial, some Bonnie and Clyde and stuff like that in there. You got the judge. Got the judge. This is actually literally the first time of me going through all of this right now. I didn't really. Then you got Michael J. Fox in one of the scenes. This is this is such a cool set. I'm really really happy. And while I'm putting this away, I'm gonna tell you how awesome the picture quality is. They went through it, and I think, I don't remember if they did a Dolby Vision. I don't remember, but they either slapped an HDR or a Dolby Vision, and one of the codecs you could really really tell. They have this 200-page booklet of the Gazette, and it's all in, for the most part, like the outside and all that stuff is in English, but once you start looking in here, it's all in German. So as much as I would love to, as much as I would love to read this, I cannot, and I'm probably gonna have to do that whole where I scan this on my phone and it kind of translate for me. But yeah, that is awesome. Again, I'll never forget. I tell this story all the time. I'll never forget being in the movie theaters in 1996 as a young, dumb kid, you know, kind of bewildered that I was the only one there for a Michael Jackson movie or Michael Jackson. Sorry, Michael Jackson. Um, if it was a Michael Jackson movie, people would probably showed up. But I was really bewildered that a movie on a Friday night on a big theater, that nobody showed up, and that's just goes to show you that the theater put this in the biggest theater, anticipating that this movie was going to do good, and it didn't, which was very interesting. So yeah, this has been me kind of talking about the Frighteners and giving a look at Turbine's release, a 4K release of the special edition of the Frighteners in German. But that, you know what, I'll take it in German, whatever. This looks fantastic. It looks beautiful. It looks better than ever. The director's cut is really cool. My only gripe is that it kind of takes away from the comedy a little bit watching the director's cut, but I had to watch the director's cut because I've seen the theatrical cut so many times and I had to experience it. There's hours upon hours upon hours of behind the scenes footage. Think of the appendices of Lord of the Rings, but obviously not as, there's not 100 hours, but it's essentially you're going to get up an appendices for this movie basically from start to finish, and it's awesome. So if you're able to find this somewhere, it's out there. People are, selling them. Get it if you're a fan of the Frighteners. But that's going to do it for me. Until next time, guys, keep on watching movies.